Hey there, so today on Burnline Engraving, we're going to be making a Patriots wooden cutting board, in honor of them going to the Super Bowl, the New England Patriots and the football team. The cutting board is a pretty small one. You can't see it right now, you'll see it in a second, or in a minute. It is 11 inches by 6.5 inches, and it's about 3/4 of an inch thick. Um, Anyways, let's get into it. So this is the Patriots logo, for those of you who don't know. It's already been vectorized, so it's already in the SVG format, which means I can zoom in on these lines as much as I want for all eternity. They will never get grainy and blurry like a normal image would, like a PNG or something. So first step I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this out here. You don't have to do this, but I do it because it gives me this nice gray black background that it's easier to tell when I delete the white than if it's over here. So I'm gonna drag this out here. I'm gonna press Control U. That ungroups it. So it means that now I can drag these different parts away if I want to. Control Z brings that back together. And just delete the white because I want this to be transparent. I want it trying to etch nothing on the laser engraver. So now you don't have to do this at all. I just always do it. I put this into grayscale. So that means I'm going to click it. Click the blue there. You see right now it's on an RGB that's red, green, blue. I'm going to go up here. This is in properties, by the way, under fill. Click that, change it to grayscale. Then do the exact same thing over here. It automatically sets the grayscale to what it thinks it should be. Notice if you try to just do this, you try to do it all at once, turns the whole thing one color. We don't want that, of course. Let me get out of here real quick. So now, like I said, just come in here, grayscale this too. Alright, and I guess might as well grayscale this. It's basically already gray. So now we're gonna select everything, Control G. That's a command to regroup everything. So now it's back as one body. If I drag it around, it doesn't separate. Now, obviously, this is way too big for what we're gonna be etching. So we need to get down to size. Our aspect ratio is locked, so that's good. That means everything is gonna move. Everything's gonna scale correctly, and it's not gonna stretch it. Turn that off. Set this to say 50 feet or inches. That's obviously not what we want, right? So lock the aspect ratio. Measure it real quick. It's gonna be about 9 inches. Yeah, 9 inches. I like to give it quite a bit of slack on either side, quite a bit of extra room, because you're never going to center it perfectly. Up and down, I'll set it to 5. Or for 4. 4 works. I also have to center that really well. Alrighty. So horizontally, we're good. 9 inches. Actually, I'll increase that a little bit. I'll increase to 9.2 to make this make it a bit longer vertically. All right, now here we go. So this is our piece. So here's what you're gonna eat. So this is interesting. So I think it's 24 by 16 is what I'm running right now. This 24 by 18. There we go. So that means right now this is what it views as the board. So the entire machine, the engraver, it thinks that this is that. This is the engraver, which means, but the problem is wherever I center the actual engraver on the head of it, when I do that in a second, whatever I center this on, it's going to view that as the top left corner. So if I say, okay, well, it's in the middle, so I'm going to, when I go over to the epilogue engraver, you'll understand, when I center it, and it's going to say, oh, okay, so let's say I center right here. Oh, well then your top left corner right here is right here. And that's not what we want, of course. So we're going to drag this. That was a very long, unnecessary way to explain a simple concept. But yeah, now we're going to get this as far up in the left corner as possible because that means accuracy. I like accuracy. There we go. Alrighty. So this is now pretty much ready to etch. One thing I always like to do is, in general, hairline means cut. That's a general rule. What that is referring to is if I go here and I go to, I think it's the outline. If this is set to hairline, it will try to cut everything around here. If you scroll in, you can kind of see it. There's a very, very thin black line around everything. You don't want that because that means the machine is going to try to cut through the wood, and we don't want our cutting board in the shape of in 3 different pieces, right? So we're going to leave it at none, which is what we want. That's good. All right. Nah, I don't care. Okay. Yeah, whatever. All right, now I'll take you all over to the laser. Alright, so here we have the cutting board. You can see right there, I already lined it up pretty much good enough. It doesn't have to be perfectly lined up. These hexagons, as you can see, this mesh here kind of thing is made of hexagons. That helps me line it up because I can line up with etching hexagons. Alrighty, laser's already on, project's already sent. And now we're going to focus it. So that means we need to make sure that the height of the object that we're etching, in this case cutting board, we want to make sure it is at a consistent distance from the laser at all times. So you'll notice this is the tool we use for focusing. Click this button to focus it, and then these two to move the table down and up. So you'll notice that I come over here, up, X, Y, off. Now I can move this around freely. Notice this tip is not even close to touching. This would make for a very bad mark, very uneven. So consistency states, I'm going to put this up until the tip is just barely touching the wood. Alrighty. Now what I'm going to do, now this is all set up, I'm going to click pointer. You can see it right there maybe. It turns on a little red dot. That tells me the exact center of where it's etching. So I can come back out here and I can sort of gauge it on my own. What I like to usually do is I like to usually have a ruler. I don't have one right now, so I'm just going to have to guesstimate it. Use it pretty much on my own. I have a ruler upstairs. So this trick usually works. That's pretty much in the middle that way. Like so. And I actually do want this to be a little bit off center. Check it this way real quick. Yeah, I want this to be a little bit off center vertically because the Patriots logo is, of course, not perfectly square. It's more like an arc. So, that's that. I'm going to click set home because that's where I want it to etch. It is set to center etching, which means that it will etch from the center of the project outwards. So, of course, if it etches from the corner like I described earlier, that would be an issue because it'll start etching the Patriots logo right around here. And we don't want that. We want it to be etching right here. So, now everything looks good. Wish I had a ruler right about now so I just have to check that, but it's alright. So I'm just going to click reset. Notice it didn't do anything because this is the set home. Just stand there. Alrighty, so now I'm going to close the lid. About to come over here to the fan. So, this is the fan. It's what stops the whole wood from catching on fire and burning the place down. Because what we're doing is we're literally burning the wood. Like, it would set it on fire if this fan wasn't here to constantly cool it off. So, turn that on. It's pretty loud, so I'm going to raise my voice a bit. And then turn this on. Come back up here. And then we're about to start it. There you go.